what is that one thing that would get a GM to go, we got to do this?
Well, honestly, I just don't see any negative in it, because everything,
Yeah.
at the end of the day, it'll save you money. It'll drive you more business. It'll drive you more guests. It'll improve your guest satisfaction. I don't see any negatives in it.
Welcome to the Sustainable Hospitality Podcast, where we interview industry leaders in all areas of sustainable hospitality and tourism. I am your host, Kathy Sue McGuire, President and CEO of Sustainable Hospitality Solutions. We specialize in gaining internationally recognized eco certifications for hotels, venues, events, and destinations. Enjoy the episode. Welcome to the Sustainable Hospitality Podcast. I'm your host, Kathy Sue McGuire with Sustainable Hospitality Solutions. I'm delighted that our guest today is Michael Balcom. He's the general manager of the Renaissance Indianapolis North Resort. Welcome, Michael.
Hi, how are you?
Very good. I'm excited to jump in here. Congratulations on getting Green Key certified, which is third-party verified, and you got 4 keys out of 5, so that's excellent.
That's correct. Thank you. Thank you.
So whose decision was it to go this route? Was it guest driven? Was it a branding position or leadership? How did you go about going for it?
Yeah, it was kind of all of the above. It stems from Pyramid Global Hospitality, though. So Pyramid Global is a management company here. And it was an initiative from the management company. And, they asked if we want to pilot the program. And to me, once we kind of get into it, was a little bit of a no-brainer. So we, of course, said yes. And we were one of the pilot hotels for our company to start off this initiative.
Well, that's great. So is Pyramid going to have all of their hotels eventually get certified?
Yes, it's in the works right now. So I don't know how many we're at. I haven't seen in the last few months, but I know that there is at least 20 or 30 more already into the process.
Oh, that's great to hear. So, what was Pyramid's motivation? Do you know why they decided to do that?
I think it's kind of where, when we hear from a guest standpoint and from corporate negotiating and all of our corporate business, and just kind of where our world is and being green and sustainable and eco-friendly, or, like that movement is already there. So how do we stay ahead of it? And it's also, it's a branding thing too. And you see it in all the Marriott hotels, and I'm sure the other brands as well. But just like our hotel, you don't see any plastic straws in the building, and even paper straws are only offered to the guests, not automatically given. So, I think just everything that we're doing is about being more, green and eco-friendly. So it was, I'm sure it's all a part of that motion.
Yeah, it's like a confluence of everything. It's like the OTAs decided to no longer accept self-assessment, the little check boxes on your profile to get the little badge or seal that you were sustainable. And they all got together with Travelist heading it up and decided no more. There's too much confusion in the marketplace. Now you have to be certified, and you have to be audited by a third party company to verify that you're doing what you say you're doing, that you have all those things in place. So it gives it that extra credibility. So, your travelers don't have to guess, well, are they really doing these things?
Right,
Right?
right.
Yeah, that's for sure. So, walk us through the process, because I've worked with some hotels. It can be very confusing, is what I'm told. I know it, so I don't see it the same way a newbie would. So tell me how you got started, what challenges you had, and things like that. Were there any barriers?
Yeah, because it's kind of a loaded question, when someone
Yeah.
asks, like, hey, what are you doing that's green? It's like you could take that and run with it in any direction that you want. And now we
Yeah.
at least have the luxury of saying, hey, we're Green Key Global certified, which obviously has global recognition. And to say that we have 4 out of 5 keys, it kind of does the talking for us. But
Mhm.
yeah, it's a massive questionnaire with hundreds of questions. So, we started out and really what we did is we took this questionnaire And it's a full team effort because you got questions for the engineering department, for banquets, for culinary, for food and beverage, for front desk, for sales, for accounting, for what you're doing as an admin team, what you're doing in the local community. So it's not just a one person job. It takes everybody, and you
Yeah.
definitely want to get that buy-in and stuff too, and that excitement from your staff on how you can, because this is important to your front desk agents, to your banquet service, to your bartender. So,
Yeah.
getting buy-in is important, but it's you got to delegate and conquer to get through it all. But at the end of the day, so we took the questionnaire and we didn't just say, hey, let's just answer this how we're really, doing things. Let's,
Mhm.
let's take every question. And if we're not doing something that's, favorable to the green side,
Yeah.
let's figure out what we got to do to get there.
Hmm.
So, if we would have taken that questionnaire, we probably could have knocked it out in a couple of days and just said, hey, yes, we're doing this. Hey, yes, we're doing this. No, we're not
Yeah.
doing that. But, we took this as an opportunity because we're always asking ourselves, hey, how do we improve? How do we be better? And this is the answer key. This tells you exactly what you have to do. And so we took a couple months, probably 3 or 4 months, to kind of turn some of
Mm.
these things around into a favorable answer, so that way we can market yes, so we probably took 3 to 4 months, but it's such a wide range of topics, the questionnaire is. So yeah, I can understand how some people would look at it and be like, whoa, this is a little overwhelming,
Yeah.
but it really is the answer key on how to be more sustainable.
What kinds of things operationally did you do? Had you been, were you already measuring your energy, water, and waste and recycling? I mean, measuring by looking at it every month and seeing if it was going up or down. Did you have any goals or targets set before you started the Green Key process?
Yeah, so that is has been a brand initiative by Marriott. Is there a program called Mesh? So every month we enter the data, and we do it on our own accounting side too, from a management company standpoint. So we actually hit it on both sides. So that is something we do. But that's been very important to the Marriott world. Is we enter the usage and the bill rates and everything on a monthly basis. That way, yeah, you're seeing how you're tracking month to month, but also year to year, trying to get closer to that net zero amount. So yeah, that is something that we've been doing.
Well, that's a big ask if you're not already doing that, to gather 12 months of everything. And you can imagine a large place having multiple, water bills or
Right,
utility bills in general.
right.
And plus, tracking waste and recycling, those bills, I've seen many of them from many companies, and they're really difficult to maneuver to
Yeah,
try to get the data out of them, because this container is only 4 by 6 and this one's a compactor and this one, and how many times is it picked up, and those kinds of things. So that's
right.
wonderful. You were already doing that. Does Marriott require that you participate in mesh?
Yes,
Yes.
correct.
Okay, so what other kind of changes did you make, as far as maybe you enhanced your community involvement or your staff engagement? What kind of other kinds of other things did you implement that you weren't doing?
Yeah, a couple of the exciting things are one is composting. That's probably the more exciting one that we began doing out of the Green Key Global. So, we are a very high volume banquet food and beverage hotel. We do significant amount of banquets here, and there's always leftover food. It's not a perfect science on feeding everybody the exact amount, So,
Yeah.
but rather than throwing that food away, we partnered up with a local composting company who comes and picks up our bins every week. So all of that food now is getting dumped into a compost bin, which is being fed to whether it's local farm animals or donated to local farmers that need the compost. So that's something that we started doing from Green Key Global. That's been exciting. The other item is Marriott has transitioned to all bulk amenities in all the guest rooms, from soap, shampoo, conditioner,
Yeah.
which has been great. But so they're not refillable containers. But what we can do now is we actually pay the expense to ship down. It's a third party company we use called Clean the World. And so now we are actually shipping those containers once they're gone. We ship them down to Clean the World, and they actually grind them up, refurbish them into other products. They take the bars of soap that we also ship down there, I have this whole research on it I could send you. But they turn them into like hygiene kits, and they serve refugees, and I think in just
Yeah,
a
I'm
year.
familiar. Yes.
Yeah, so they're
They're
doing
actually,
great
I'm in
work.
Florida and they're in Orlando where they were based
Yes.
out of there. Yeah.
Okay, excellent. So yeah, we use Clean the World, so we ship all that, and so we actually take all those metrics, and we actually have a green wall in a hallway in the hotel now that we kind of post all these metrics about how much, how many bars of soap and how many pounds of, like the containers and the bulk, amenities that are being reused and repurposed, and how many miles of fuel is being saved by, the compost, and all these metrics that we have this big old green wall to display all the good that we're doing from, these kind of programs that we're using now.
Well, I want to ask you a question. I might have gotten confused. You said you don't have the refillable dispensers like in the guest room showers or bathrooms, and you're still using the amenity bottles that you send to Clean the World, or is that just hard soap?
No, so they are the bulk bottles. So we don't do the single amenity. They are the bulk, but they're not refillable.
Oh,
So we
I
take that
see.
whole bulk. So like, yeah, like the bulk is good in itself because you're saving on all the plastic from the single use. So now
Yeah.
we have the bulk. However, those aren't refillable. So those we ship down there rather than throwing those away. So
Oh,
they
I
actually get
see.
grinded down and used into different products.
Is that a Marriott or Pyramid Global? Is that required that you use that type, or could you go to refillable
I
dispensers if you
don't,
wanted to?
I don't want to be quoted on that, but I think they are all, I want to say that all the Marriott, bulk amenities are non-refillable. But
Oh,
I could
okay.
be wrong on that. So,
Yep. No, I'll look into it, but no, I
yeah,
understand. You can't know what everybody's doing all the time.
yeah.
Let's see. From a staff, what did you do about training? How did you comply with the training requirement for Green Key? What did you do?
So part of our management company is we actually have a monthly meeting. We actually had ours this morning. We actually call ours. It's a part of our METS program, our maintenance, energy, telecommunications, and safety. So we actually talk through our green process and how to be more sustainable throughout the hotel, how to keep our hotel clean, safe, well maintained. And so once a month we meet on that front just to talk things green and saving energy, and those things.
So does that involve your entire staff? That's just your management meeting, right?
And one associate from every single department.
Oh,
So
that's like your green team.
yeah, so we actually call it. Yeah, it's Pulse is another acronym, and it's People Utilizing Life Safety and Energy.
Yes, so that's
And
how you deal with all of those other requirements of Green Key and that sort of thing. So that's like it's kind of like a green team, but a lot of times hotels will put the safety aspect, in there as well. So that's great.
yeah, and so we use one associate from each department, and it does rotate every month. So you're getting fresh faces in there. But
Oh,
they can consult with their other employees before going to the meeting, for their other team to recommend different items. And hey, what if we started doing this? Hey, what if we start doing this? So it's good buy-in from the staff.
oh, that's good. And how were you able to document training in that way? Did you have to show them documents with employee names that these are the people who've gone through the training and here's what our training is and your training is all written out, or did you have to
Yeah,
do
we
that?
we have like the SOP on what our meeting is and that front, and then during our meetings we got sign-in sheets and whatnot. But submitting to Green Key was really the SOP that hey, this is what our process is and what it looks like and what we do and what we cover.
Oh, oh, okay. So they were more wanting to look at that you have a written process in place, not that you had to prove every single time how many times you were covering it or talking about it or anything like that.
Correct,
Oh,
correct.
good. Okay, that makes it a little easier for sure. When planning your next trip, choose a hotel that shares your values. The Renaissance Indianapolis North is certified by Green Key Global with 4 keys, a prestigious eco-certification that means they meet rigorous standards for energy efficiency, water conservation, and waste reduction. From their sustainable practices to their commitment to the environment, every detail is designed with the planet in mind. Book your green stay today and make every night count. In your community, what kinds of things were you doing before, and what did you perhaps add on to your community involvement?
So one exciting thing to share, and we've been posting about this on social media. So, I mentioned the composting, and one thing that we've really been able to take kind of full circle here is, that compost goes to local farms. And we partnered up with a local distillery called West Fork Whiskey. They're right down the road, and they get all their corn from the local farms here. And that corn is used to make their bourbon. So as you can probably see where I'm about to go with this, but
Yeah,
all the corn is from the local farms here. That corn makes the bourbon. Then we partnered up with them to create our own private label bourbon bottle. So that bourbon has a photo of the cornfields. It has our name on it. It's got a recycle logo. And on the back, we kind of tell the story of the full circle that, hey, if you come to our hotel and you eat food, your leftover food is going to a compost bin, which is being fed, to the farms, which is growing the corn, which is making the bourbon. And then now you have your bourbon bottle here. So
that's what you call full circle and life cycle.
yes, absolutely. So, we've taken that, and to be local and indigenous, which is who our Renaissance brand is, we've taken that bourbon and have our signature cocktail now. And it's kind of our twist of an old fashioned. So we take that
Mhm.
same corn, local corn, we char it over the grill, almost like burn it, and then it simmers with some local
Yeah.
honey. You strain that for like your simple syrup, and then you have your bourbon and a local cherry. And now we have our signature old fashioned from the hotel. Our guests love it. They love they love the story. Our clients love
Yes.
it. They share it. So we've built a lot of excitement about it too. That's one thing that's just been like really big in our community that has gotten a lot of traction recently.
See, that's innovation, creativity, and I mean, I think everybody, no matter what your job is at your resort, is like, you know, this is exciting. This is fun. You got to make it fun. You don't want to be. People think, well, what's in it for me, and is it going to add to my job? And now I have more to do if we do this whole green key thing. But it
Right.
hasn't turned out that way, right? Because you must have prepared everybody. Yes, this is going to be we're going to make some changes, but they're all going to be good. And don't worry.
Right, right, exactly. So yeah, we've had a lot of excitement all around too, whether it's staff or our guests.
Do you have a way for your staff to submit suggestions? And if you do, how do you do that? Do you have old-fashioned suggestion box on the wall with some paper and a pen, or how do you do
It's
that?
funny. Yeah, we actually do have a suggestion box, but we like to think that we have such great culture here that our doors are always open. We are very a pretty tight knit group here that anyone people are bringing up suggestions to me all the time, to other
Mhm.
managers, and when we're always talking about it, it definitely gets done.
That's wonderful. And when you were talking about, you have a significant banquet group business element, the Global Business Travel Association, uh, they created a standard sustainability standard RFP that they're giving out to all their members. So all these travel buyers and meeting planners, I don't know if you knew that or not, but if you ever get asked to fill one of those out, you should be ready to go.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the thing too, is all these RFPs that we get, it's always such a loaded question, and now like I mentioned, it's easy to say, hey, we're Green Key Global certified, but also there's always so many different questions that now we can kind of just look back to the certification, and there's there's all those hundreds of questions with the answers there. So I can provide that to the sales team that they have easy answers for all these things as well.
Yeah, and do you prepare like a marketing piece that you can put in your digital electronic kits to send to people? Do you have like a sales and marketing
Yeah,
piece?
like we have like a one pager, especially for like collateral and stuff that we'll put in like our folders. But on our email signatures, you can look at mine. It's got the Green Key Global certification
Yeah, I
underneath with
saw
the
it. Yeah.
keys, and so and that's usually visually pointed out.
Did you have it's how long have you had this certification?
Um, so we were
I just noticed it recently in the past 30 days or so.
okay. It was last year in May or June that we went through the audit.
Really? I wonder why I just saw that on LinkedIn recently. Did somebody post that again? I guess.
We have had a lot of posts about us recently. Speaking of the Green Key Global, also some of the bourbon, the initiatives. But yeah, I believe it was last May or June that we had the audit. It might have been in June that it
Oh,
became.
okay. Well, I'm sorry if I sounded like I didn't know what was going on because I thought, oh, they just got Green Key certified. It's been over a year ago.
Yeah, so
So
I'm kind of reaching back on some of the questions. What did we do there? What
yeah,
did we fill in? So yeah, it
yeah.
was a little over a year ago that we went through the process.
Have you, well, since it's been that long, have you been able to measure your impact and have or the outcome of some of the things that you've done? I mean, I know you have your green wall, your successes, but have you been able to see a measurable impact and like reduction in energy or water or anything like that? I know you have for the waste because you're diverting to compost. Not everybody has that in their community. Me, I'm in South Florida. I'm in Palm Beach County, and we're not allowed to compost unless it's outside our backyard or something like that because they have a waste energy plant and they got to feed it. So they don't allow any companies to come in and provide composting because it's not going to landfill, so they think that's okay.
I see.
And plus, we don't have and in their defense, South Florida has grown so much that we don't really have any land where you could do that, where a neighborhood wouldn't probably smell it. So we don't have any countryside anymore. So even our agricultural land out west, the center of the state, even south, central, and north, it's being squeezed from the west coast of Florida to the east. So the building out is going like that. So there's only a little bit of a land left that you can farm on and things like that. So yeah, there's probably a practical reason behind that too. But it's good that you're able to do that because Green Key had it as a requirement, and when I told them by statute we couldn't, and they said, well, they would have to, yeah, obviously make an exception because it's not
Oh, okay.
available.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, absolutely.
for sure. So any like financial, like, oh my gosh, we saved X number of dollars this past year.
Nothing that'd be like quantitative, but I mean, I know it's there because, through the questionnaire when we're going through it, sometimes like we're all culprits of, sometimes getting the tunnel vision in our hotels because we're working it day in and day out. So when you have the questionnaire, we were going around, and filling out these questions, we're like, you know what, actually these storage closets didn't have, sensored light switches on it. So, so we replace some of those remaining storage closets with auto sensors. So, now, hey, we don't have to worry about the light being left on for a few days, or something like that. So,
Yeah,
some of those smaller items for sure. Some of the bigger projects we're still finalizing. We've got some additional lights in our guest room hallways that still need to be converted to LED. So working through the final quotes on that. But I'm sure it's there, but nothing that would be able to vocalize on quantitative,
right,
specifics.
right. Yeah, I understand. If when you go to get recertified, which you've got another 2 years before, because it's a 3-year process, you might need to, I'm not sure, don't quote me, but you might need to show that you're at least trying to continuously improve, have numbers come down
Right.
in those areas. So just so you're not caught off guard, it's like, oh my God, we weren't doing it. It might be a possibility. You might want to check in on it
Yeah.
so you don't have all that coming at you all at once when you
Yeah.
recertify. Have you had much guest feedback? I know you told me about the cocktail and the bourbon. Have there been any other like comments like, "Oh, we're so glad you're doing this, this, or this"?
Oh, tons, tons. And actually it's, it's that green wall I was talking about. We use a local company who did this nice, beautiful moss wall within these picture frames.
I know
And
someone who does that. Yeah.
yeah, so guests, we see guests taking pictures of it all the time, reading it, looking
Oh,
at
you have
it.
it out in the open for
Yes.
everybody,
Yeah, it's in a
for the
guest room.
guests and everything. It's not just back of
Yes.
house.
You have to go to the
Oh,
elevators, or you have to go to the guest tower and you have to walk by it. So, and guests are taking pictures of it all the time. Actually one of our, and it's always great to see like, so one of our top accounts, they love the bourbon story so much and what we're doing with Green Key that they actually, on their GDS system, they actually put our page and the picture of the bourbon front page and cover, for all to see, just because they were just so happy of it, about it. So, when you see things like that and you're like, wow, so everything we're doing is making a big difference, because sometimes, you do these things, you don't hear any feedback or maybe you don't see it, but to the amount of feedback has been very positive, and very encouraging, to know that, hey, all this work we're doing is very well received.
yeah. I really love that. I think one of the problems is that we don't, and this maybe, I don't know if this is your larger brands like your Marriott's, but the last I looked, there was really no place because you're given the website, it's a Marriott template, so to speak, and it's all laid out the same for all the Marriott properties, from what I understand. And so there's not a way to like put your own personal things on there, like maybe that you have Green Key, but to be able to communicate to potential guests or returning guests, these are all the things that we're doing, so it's not communicated very well in many instances. What do you think about that?
Yeah, and I like third parties like if you go onto Expedia now, you can click check mark it. Green Key Global auto feeds into there, so you can see
Yeah,
like the recognition there. So I do like that
yeah,
companies like that are now. I think, like you said, at the start of the call, that you can't just mark yourself compliant to green.
no,
It's got to be that third party recognition. I think that kind of speaks to it too, that you have that like that official, like authorization.
yeah. One thing I have seen at another hotel is they had the uh, they have a big digital display like in the lobby, and it's just slides that go by that show we saved X number of plastic bottles by using flow water dispensers or something like that. And it just runs continuously so you can see all of those things. That might be an idea. I
Yeah,
did see
we
that.
actually
It
have a
looked really
projector
good.
in the lobby, that does do that, and but
Oh,
it's
you
it's
do?
right by our green wall. So yeah, but
Oh,
we could definitely, add some things in there too.
yeah, that sounds really good. So we talked about the challenges, which didn't seem to be too many, really. Everybody bought in and decided, yep, we're going to do this. And you got creative and innovative. So from a broader perspective, how does Marriott grade you on these kinds of things, like your other your other brand standards? If they send someone to check out, make sure you're following the Marriott brand standards. Are any of these environmental things required? I know you have to upload information to mesh. Anything else that you have to provide?
On the Marriott side,
Yeah,
not from like a Green Key Global perspective, but definitely their brand standard audit that we're getting every year. Those are very, tough to pass, and Marriott continues to push their own brand standards out to be more green, which actually coincides with several items in Green Key Global. I mentioned the straws. It's been years now since Marriott's got rid of all plastic straws in all their hotels. And then even the paper straws, you're not supposed to just, automatically hand it out to with every beverage. You
Yeah.
have to ask. So it's things like that. Our mobile dining, whenever we deliver room service, are now in, compostable, sustainable to go ware. It's not just plastic anymore. And that's on the Marriott side, which also goes on the Green Key Global side. So Marriott is definitely doing a lot of things on their brand side that was also attributing to the success in improving our number of keys on the Green Key Global side.
Oh, that's really good because a lot of times hotels brand standards, if it may have something in there that well, no, you can't do that because the brand standard won't allow it, kind of
Yeah,
thing.
I think Marriott is very ahead of being green and very ambitious, net zero carbon, deadlines, and and even when it comes to recycling bins and all the guest rooms on the Marriott brand standard, it's there's exact decals that have to be on those bins and the exact placement, so they are very specific. They've done a very good job of kind of getting rid of, printed paper and kind of going more to the digital side. And
Mhm.
so Marriott has very much helped and improved the score. So as long as you're following brand standard, it helps you get a better key on Green Key Global as well.
Yeah, right. I'm just wondering, sometimes when I go out to a hotel, I'm seeing things that Hilton or Marriott or many of the others uh, are kind of requiring, but they're not doing it. And I'm just wondering how that is. I mean, I see so many, and I've asked them, like, you have your program names. Each brand has a program name. And I
Yeah.
said, well, what do you think about such and such I'm trying not to call out any names. What do you think of what do you think of such and such a program? What is that? They don't know what it is. So that's why I'm wondering if the brand, you've got the brand, you've got the management company, then you have at the property level. And I just wondered if the information is flowing down because I know all the brands have made commitments to sustainability with Green Key, but the hotels I'm talking to is like, well, we're not required to do it.
Yeah. Yeah, there are those hotels that fail the brand standard audits.
Would that be part of is Green Key certification part of the brand standard now?
No, no,
No, but you
no.
have to do many things that are within Green Key
Yeah.
uh, as part of their standard,
Yeah.
right? Okay, good. That's really good to know because I was going out there thinking, I don't see anything happening here, but I guess that's an opportunity for me, right?
Right, right.
Let's see what else I have here. What advice would you give to other hotels who are considering Green Key certification but haven't taken the leap yet? What from your position, your perspective, would impress upon a GM, we need to do this. Otherwise, all these people are doing it and we're going to be left out because we're like laggards here. Is that it? Kind of not a judgment or shaming, but what is the one thing? Is it cost? Is it guest interest, eco-conscious travelers? What is that one thing that would get a GM to go, we got to do this?
Well, honestly, I just don't see any negative in it, because everything,
Yeah.
at the end of the day, it'll save you money, it'll drive you more business, it'll drive you more guests, it'll improve your guest satisfaction. I don't see any negatives in it.
That's our short clip right there that we're going to pull out of this video for you. We're going to have you everywhere explaining the value of that. That's wonderful. Um, what does achieving this milestone mean to you personally as a general manager?
Well, on the personal front, I'll say the personal front because my mom is from Sweden, and I go to Sweden every year, and you know my whole life and childhood, I've seen what Sweden does from a green perspective. You
Yeah.
know, they've got 5, 6 different trash cans, recycle bins. Everything has to be sorted. They're very strict on it. And just this past year, I just got back a couple months ago. It's already went up. It's went up to like 7 bins per household. So they have to sort like everything out, and then everything that they do is just so healthy. And so for me personally, just kind of having that in my culture, DNA,
Yeah.
that's why this was kind of, that's why it was a no-brainer for me to go Green Key Global, just because, my life and what I see over there's a lot of areas for improvement. So that's more on the personal front, how do we be more green? It kind of stems from some of that.
That's really terrific. What percentage, you said you have a large percentage at your group business. What percentage is group and what percentage is leisure?
We're pretty group heavy. I mean, 40% of our business is group.
Oh, okay, very good.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you'd like to share with us that I have not asked you that you're really excited to share? Or anything about what's coming up in the future, something innovative, whatever you'd like to say in the closing comments here.
Yeah, so we're actually working on so I talked through the bourbon story in the full circle, and now, so I'm working through getting some of that compost back and using that compost to grow our own mint leaves, and then using
Yes.
those mint leaves, and we're going to be pairing up with another distillery for our own rum, and then you can build your own or make your own kind of cocktail or mojito. So if
Mm-hmm.
you do like a
Yeah.
mint mojito, the mint leaves are growing from the compost that we got back from that third party company, which is of course coming from our food there. That's something we're working on too, which is pretty exciting. So, we
Yeah, it's a,
continue to
it's a
elaborate and
closed
grow
loop.
on it.
A closed loop process is what all those
Exactly.
things are
It's
are
that
also
full
known as
circle.
too. I just thought of something else that I want to ask you. And do you have is there a mechanism by which all of each of, let's say, Pyramid Global's portfolio to share these ideas? Because you may have had an idea like with this bourbon that they could do something similar with, I don't know, tequila or something, or to help others, have all these innovative ideas. Do you have a mechanism to share information, like an intranet for
Yeah,
pyramid?
so on this topic, we've actually had multiple calls because it is fairly new and stuff too in the past year or two, and there are a lot of hotels in the process. I actually just had another GM reach out to me while we were on this call here to get on a call about Green Key Global and the certification process. But they've used me to just kind of, also, share these concepts and ideas too on some local calls. Otherwise, it's, a lot of email chains, a lot of communication, but
Yeah.
and I think a lot of the vice presidents kind of, share our name and our hotel as
Hmm.
resources for those that are going through it.
Oh, okay. That's very good. Well, I really appreciate your time. I've learned a lot,
Yeah.
and I'm really excited for you to continue to have that positive impact and come up with those creative and innovative ideas. Thank you very much, Michael Balcom, General Manager of the Renaissance Indianapolis North. Thanks for being with us.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you for tuning in to the Sustainable Hospitality Podcast. If you're ready to take meaningful action and set your property apart as a leader in sustainability, my company, Sustainable Hospitality Solutions, is here to help. Our Achieving Green Keys certification training program provides hotels with a clear step-by-step path to earning this internationally recognized eco certification. Please go to sustainablehospitalitytraining.com. Thank you.